Hey, this is Shiraz, your reality interventionist, and I am here with James Elliot, and he does a lot of mindset work just like me. And I love for you to get different points of view, different methodologies, so you can see exactly what's out there. So James is going to be talking about the his four pillars to success and how you can get more done by doing less work.
Right
So
on.
James,
Right
tell us a little about yourself and give us that 30,000 foot view.
right on. Right. Thank you. So I essentially help people work less and play more. Work with a lot of coaches, a lot of natural health practitioners, and really, it truly is. In fact, you and I were talking about this and changing, shifting certain things to work less and play more. But really, there's four major pillars I give people and talk to that really help people work less, play more, scale their business, and have a business that's actually scalable versus that consumes them and consumes all their time, taking up all their time, burning them out, overwhelming them, and either causing self doubt or maybe the lack of success or the glass ceiling is from self doubt. So there, without further ado, here we go. I can list them and then we can dig a little deeper if you want.
Okay, I'm looking forward to this because I something that came up recently was a comment about entrepreneurs and how entrepreneurs are very strange species because we will work 120 hours to avoid a 40-hour a week
It's
job.
true. It's true.
So,
Criminal.
so if
It's
you could find
true.
a way to get that number down, I would appreciate it so much.
Right on. And that's my special. That's what I do, as I would love helping with doing, and really live a life by design. I work from the cottage in the summer. I travel in the winter. I was in Philippines in December. I'm in Colombia for late March, late February, March, and just having fun. So we can go through these, but the main four major pillars is really helping people have more fun and more passion about their work, and yes, find ways to work less and have more free time as well, and stop the busy work. Pillar two, when we go through these, pillar two is really about stepping into your power and getting out of self doubt, getting out of imposter syndrome. Because otherwise, well, we're not going to do anything really well and we're going to stay limited. Pillar number three is really having more influence, more credibility, more authority, which is super in a land that is at an all time trust vacuum, or trust low, or trust deficit, I guess is the best word. Having more influence, more authority, more credibility will have people choose you over someone else, or and have people say yes to you versus, well, let me think about it, or well, not right now, or it's not the right time, or I'm going to choose Bob or Fred or Sally or Jane. Pillar four is flow state, maximizing productivity, avoiding distractions, getting twice as much done in half the time. And really, I mean, if you think about this, what if you got double the amount done in a day, period? But then also, what if you could get double the amount done in half the time? Holy moly, how that shifts and changes people. So those are the four pillars. We can go through them briefly, or if you have questions on them, anything specific, happy to answer those.
So I'm actually interested about pillars two and three and how those work because they are distinctly different. However, they're also intertwined because
True.
you want to be the authority, but if you've got imposter syndrome, that's not going to work. And I can see that if you are become the authority and you still have imposter syndrome, you're not going to take on clients because you're like they think I'm such a great authority, but no, I'm not.
And fair. And I think, stepping into our power and getting rid of the self doubt and imposter syndrome. I think it's always there at some level. I've interviewed millionaires and even a billionaire, and it's always there to some degree. But to your point, if it's there so much that it has you play small, whether you're somewhat successful, moderately successful, fairly successful, but still limited, you're hitting that glass ceiling, if you will, that upper limit, you're hitting that, and or to be that successful, whatever level of success you have, if you're burning yourself out, working crazy hours, that's not sustainable as well. Often it shows up in hesitation, procrastination, overthinking. Often it shows up in doing the busy work, doing the $10 tasks versus the $10,000 tasks, the bigger, more scary, more uncomfortable tasks. It has us avoid those, shy away from those, and do more of the little piddly rinky-dink $5, $10, $2 tasks because it's more comfortable. And if we fail, well, it's a small failure. No one knows. No one will see. It doesn't matter type thing. But also in the grand scheme of things, it also doesn't matter. You're doing these little things that failures don't matter, but it doesn't matter. It probably shouldn't even be done. So we look at that and look at what are you doing that really is the 80% that gets you 20% of the results, and then what is the 20% that gets you 80% of the results. And yes, it's usually a little scarier, usually less comfortable. However, it's going to make you rich. It's going to help you work even less, have a better life and more free time, but also help you help more people. It's almost doing a disservice to people and yourself by playing small, and by not being able to serve the people you want to serve, not moving forward without fear. I mean, I invite people to think about what would you do? What would you implement? What actions would you take if you could move forward with no fear and just stepping into your power and who you are? And that none of us are perfect. We all have imposter syndrome. But again, doing that deep dive into what is causing that imposter syndrome, that self-doubt, and then ripping it out with some really powerful tools, and then just watch your business grow because you're more automatically going towards the things that are bigger and better. Yes, a little more risk. Yes, a little more uncomfortable, but growth and comfort. Well, they're not bar buddies. They don't hang out at the bar together. They don't hang out at the gym together. They don't go together. It's like oil and water. But we got to remove these deep-seated beliefs and fears and imposter syndrome if people really want to open up and go big in business and again, play more and work less.
That's something that you said just really caught my attention because with imposter syndrome, and I guess it's coming from my point of view, is when I got hit with imposter syndrome, I just didn't take steps forward. So, but when you're describing imposter syndrome, it's not just that. It's about doing all this other stuff to keep you busy, to distract you. And like for me, I didn't do things to keep me busy. I just didn't do anything. And I'd be, bitching to myself, like, why don't you do it? Here's another opportunity. Why don't you do it? But I wasn't extremely busy. But now that you said it, I'm picturing all these people I know that they're working hard all the time, but they're not taking the big steps.
Working hard but hardly working, really, as the saying goes. Yeah, and you're right, and it comes in both forms. Like I said, some people, they're not doing anything, so to speak, air quotes, or to your point, they're doing lots of busy stuff to feel accomplished, feel successful, feel busy, or to stay out of the grief or the guilt or the shame that comes with not doing anything. So again, both things can happen, but again, they're not really achieving, or it gives them a dopamine fix. Wow, I did so much today. That was a busy day. That was a great day. I did so much. Did you make any money? Did you connect with some great people? Did you talk to some clients? Did you enroll anyone? Did you move the needle? Then, well, it's a dopamine hit and nothing more. And you'll go broke with dopamine hits and without success or sales or enrolling people, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's cool. That's a neat new perspective for me.
Thank you. Yeah. It's something to think about. Your second question about the credibility and authority and influence. Again, we can be Mr. or Mrs. Nice Guy, Nice Girl, and have people love us. And I find, I've always found that. Well, I shouldn't say always. The James 2.0 has been good at that because the James 1.0 wasn't. So I learned how to be good with getting connection with people, trusting, being likable. Which ironically isn't by people pleasing. It's by saying no, speaking out, standing for something, having a cause, being okay with people not liking you in exchange for certain people loving you and really resounding with what you do, choosing you versus a massive group of people who Shiraz is okay, James is all right, Elliot's all right, they're okay. But never would they buy from you, promote you, hire you, that kind of thing, set their daughter up with you, set their son up with you, you name it. Yeah. And, when we do have that credibility, that authority, that influence, if you have influence, you have attention, you have people's attention. This equals money, equals people choosing you versus others, and people will want to help you and support you. And again, like you said, pillars 2 and 3 often go together because when you're more confident, you have that confidence, you have the self-assuredness, people choose you. You are automatically more influential. You're automatically communicating on a whole other level and compelling people in action. You're being heard, being seen, and having people listening, and they even see that you're listening, it just, people convert better in less time. So of course, more time for play, more time for fun and other things you love in life or your business. Um, or travel. Like I love travel, friends, family, that influence, that credibility, that authority is key, especially like we were talking about earlier, when and there's a trust deficit and trust is at an all-time low. If you can build that credibility and that influence to be able to move people into action versus just like you, or, oh, James is such a nice guy, or, Sheila is such a nice girl, or whatever, really compelled into action and knowing that you're the right person. Part of it through your own confidence in what you do and certainty, your own certainty that you can help someone. I'm sure you've heard of this. There's a psychological phenomenon called transference, and it's where we can feel people's vibes, they can feel ours, and it's been proven by science. And it's I mean, even therapists, coaches, mentors got to be careful, because we can feel. Teachers have to be careful, because if they don't feel a student can do something, guess what doesn't happen?
Yeah.
Right? Or if they're certain a student can do something, well, guess what else happens? Same with mentors, coaches, business people trying to sell a thing. If you're certain you can help them, they're a heck of a lot more likely to buy. If you're uncertain or doubting yourself, you'll have a great conversation. Oh yeah, James, this was so great. Or, Sheila, Fred, this was so great. Yep, I'll get back to you. And then crickets, they disappear, they ghost you.
Yeah.
It's that lack of certainty, which will kill influence, kill credibility, kill authority. So that's a big thing. And having this influence will have you convert people better in less time. You make more money in less time. So again, more life, more play, more travel, more fun.
Nice. Yeah, and the way you described that is that you can have that wonderful conversation, but they don't convert. I call that the equivalent of being friend zoned, right? So
that's a great point. That's a great equivalent. My goodness, that's great. You're right.
yeah. So it's just like, yeah, I'll talk to you, but that's it. That's where I draw the line.
So. I'll seek value from you. I'll pick your brain. I'll get free information or advice. But yeah, exactly. It's that friend zone. That's a good, which is a horrible place to be.
Yeah.
That is a very, very, very valid point. I love that, man.
Thanks. And so you talked about going to pillar 4 about doing less and accomplishing more. And you talked about one method is like the 80-20. What's the 20% you're doing that's getting 80% of the results? What are the methods and tools do you have around that to do less and get more?
Yeah, for sure. So a couple things. One is just killing all distractions and being able to get into a flow state and having like big time blocks to get into. So not only an hour. Often I find 2-3 hour blocks to do something important, even if you don't use it all, will get you in there versus, oh my goodness, I have, in 20 minutes I have this meeting. Going longer, 1 hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, 2.5 hour time blocks tend to work better and get you into a flow state, minimizing any distractions, putting this thing at least on airplane mode, if not out of the room, if you still can't avoid touching it. All alerts off, email, all social media alerts, all off on your computer as well. Dings, rings, visual, nothing at all. The other thing is just being able to be grounded enough and present enough and calm enough, whatever, meditation or relaxation technique you use, deep breathing, get you into present state as well. The other thing you could do is jot down all the things you're doing in your business, everything, and look at what is really moving me. What makes me money? What are the core things that make me money? And maybe out of those things too, what do I love? What do I love doing? And outside of what the 20% that moves the needle, makes you the most money, that gets you 80% of the results, and what you love to do, that you'd love to do all day long, everything else should either be automated, outsourced, delegated, or even eliminated. I love having people eliminate stuff, especially the $5, $2, $0 tasks. Mm-hmm. If they need to be done, well, let's hire them out or automate them or systematize them. Otherwise, the cost is too great.
I get that. I remember talking to a client and she kept going on about her newsletter and how much work she puts in hours and that her list loves her newsletter. And I'm like, is it making you money? Right?
Exactly. Could you do it more concisely? And these days, I don't think anyone wants a newsletter. Maybe a quick, powerful tip. Sure. Can I read it in 20, 30, 60 seconds?
Yeah.
But do they want a long, maybe, but I don't know. Not many.
Okay.
Can I leave them with one last thought for
Absolutely.
For today? I think to look at that Here's a task action. Look at that intersection of all the things you do, write down all the things you do. If you need some help, reach out. We'll do it together. The intersection of 80-20, what's the 20% that gets you 80% results, and what's the 80% that barely gets you any results? Then out of all those things you do, written down, what do you love to do? And then another last intersection of write down or make a note, all those things, what only you can do. And then what even likely or possibly someone else or something else could do. And that'll give you a great intersection of where to move forward and what needs to go, what needs to be paramount, and what is just distraction, what is just distracting you from really what's making you the money. So that I'll leave people with that. In fact, as a town homework task, if you don't want to do it all on your own, reach out. We can do it together.
Okay, and I love that. What only you can do, because that's getting to the core of your unique skill set, your value.
Exactly.
And I think they're even finding out their selling point when they start to think that way.
Fair. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Only I can do this. I do better than anyone else. Versus I can help everyone with everything, and I do this, I do coaching on that, or help you with this. And well, there's a million of you out there. What can only you do? Yeah.
All right. That's some really great tips. Thank you so much, James. I know the audience got a lot of value out of that. And if people want to reach you for more, how can they do that?
Great question. One of the best ways is limitless-entrepreneur.com. You can also reach out on LinkedIn or Facebook, James R for Robert Elliot. So James R. Elliot with one T. And again, YouTube, James R. Elliot 99. Any way to reach out is a good way.
All right. Thank you so much for being on. And I'm sure we're going to talk some more.
Amazing. Thanks for having me.